days like this, beautiful days like this, the outdoor always beckons. Plein air, outdoor painting, sketching, plein air, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter. But I've been looking forward to doing this, and it's the first for 2022. But we're going to talk about what you look for in a scene when you go out to paint or draw, and how you might be overthinking it. Bring your thoughts in a little bit. Get close, get small, get personal, get intimate. That's what we're going to talk about. But let's go get packed up first. Well, let me show you briefly what I'm taking into the field today. This is the Art Toolkit by Expeditionary Art, art-toolkit.com. I did not use all of these things today, but I usually take this kit as it is. Today, I mainly sketched with the Caran d'Ache ballpoint pen. I've just really fallen in love with sketching with a ballpoint pen because it's got a lot of the characteristics of pencil, but you can get darker lines. That's ballpoint pen as opposed to like gel pens or rollerball pens. But in the kit in general, I have a Pigma Micron liner. I also have a pencil, mechanical pencil, white Jelly Roll gel pen, Faber-Castell white pen, and also a Posca. Sometimes I may, this is like a broader tip for white. Sometimes I may substitute out a tube of white gouache, kneaded eraser, my palette. This is also part of Art Toolkit's offerings. This is their standard palette. Here are the colors. Magnetic clips to clip either to my easel surface or the sketchbook. It's one of the reasons I like the Art Toolkit palettes, because they're metal. Water brush, which I did not use today. I have some other travel brushes here. Actually, today I mainly used this brush called Gray Matters. I've had this sitting around a long time, just never used it. Wanted to give it a try. It was a nice size, and I was primarily just coloring the ballpoint pen. But I also carry a syringe, and that's for refilling this little mister. Did not use that today. Rag. And in my pack I carry various little clips. My brush washer, which I carry into the field filled with water. It's watertight when it's sealed down. And I carry an extra bottle of water for drinking and for refilling with fresh if I need it. And it all goes in this little pack. Since someone will probably ask who's not seen this before, this is a handmade pack. I have no links or website information on this. I got it on a street vendor fair. These are handmade in Nepal. They're upscaled from like scrap fabrics. But it was just the right size. So, and I've got my tripod top easel in here. Everything fits in here, nice. And I am continuing to sketch and try out the Hanamola 100% cotton sketchbook. I've tried a number of plein air setups. The Etcher Satchel, the Gorilla Painter, Pochade Box. I like them all for various reasons. But I just keep coming back to this simple setup. It's really preference. There's nothing that's right or wrong. It's just whatever works for you. So, and this has been working for me. So maybe that'll help you make some decisions if you decide to do some plein air. Well, I decided to settle here in front of this kind of branch reaching into the water. And this is the message of this plein air session today is don't always be looking for the grand scene. There are lots of little scenes right at your feet. I rounded the corner and I saw this and I just fell in love with it. Just a neat little branch structure. There are groupings of trees and rocks and interesting bushes and clusters of flowers. Those can be your plein air subjects too. So take the pressure off. Don't necessarily look out, look down. Look small, look intimate. Now, I apologize. I'd intended to do a longer, a little more involved vlog here, but we had a few technical issues, mainly focus, and I won't go into why. But suffice it to say, I did not get much of the process in the field. So I'm going to try to make it up to you with a full commentary on what I finished in the studio. All right, so this is pretty much what I've come home with from the plein air session. And I, missed most of the coloring part on video due to the technical errors I was talking about. Oh, well, it happens.
This sort of thing has cropped up before, and it has always been due to human error.
So I'm going to continue to use the ballpoint pen. I'm going to go ahead and continue to use my plein air palette. Also going to continue to use this travel brush. So what am I going to do? Well, one of the first things is I'm just going to enhance and draw in some more of these branch structures. Maybe even do a little bit of shading with my ballpoint pen. One of the things that attracted me to this little scene, and this is in keeping with the theme, don't overlook the little scenes when you're plein air. Sometimes you can get caught up trying too hard to get the grand scene. And those grand scenes can be fun. They can be memorable if you're journaling, for travel or what else. But if you're just looking for nature and things that you want to maybe practice and study, the little scenes are gold. They're pure gold. So, first of all, is just restate your purpose for being there. Is it just to get out? Is it just to enjoy nature and the fresh air? It doesn't much matter, what you're painting and drawing. Does something strike you as having some unique characteristics, either compositionally or with the light? And actually state those things to yourself. Sometimes we can be wishy-washy. I know I can be wishy-washy with our goals. So anyway, back to this. We were just not there very long and rounded a corner and I saw this. Now I have taken artistic liberties, so I'm just getting the gist, the character of what I saw. And I did want to put in a lot of those fine hair-like branches. But now when you put in hair-like branches and try to get a natural branch structure, always keep in mind that there are open areas too. So you're subdividing space in a very designed and compositional way. And a lot of times fine branches will cluster into this really dense net just in places. They won't create this even overall pattern. And that's what I find interesting is just these nice little concentrations of fine branches and how a lot of times they tend to flow. And these were kind of going and dipping up, kind of turning up. So I wanted to hint at that on the ends here. As they reach out to the light, and produce new growth, you have that kind of a look. I've said it, and I know most experienced plein air painters will say it. The session that you have on location is always valuable, whether you finish it or not, even if you just get in a little bit of a sketch and come back to it. The time spent looking at the real values, the real colors, the atmosphere, I think is always valuable. And the branches will have a flow. They'll have a direction on a lot of types of trees. Doesn't matter if it's not super precise. You can be looser with it. You can go back in here and make some of these branches sort of a center vein, make them a little bit more prominent, like they are supporting the finer branches. And I'm starting to get the detail that I felt in the scene. And it is a feeling. So you get a nice little variety of negative shapes. And that's one of the things to really pay attention to. The negative space between branches. Do pay attention to the characteristics of that particular tree. In this case, it would look like it was rhododendron, but pay attention to how the branches branch and flow characteristic to that tree. You'll get all different kinds. You'll get some that all sort of branch and flow in the same direction, and that was by and large the way these were. You will get some that will branch at more acute angles, and be straight. You'll get curved. Observe the overall characteristics of the type of branching that you see. And that will allow you to be inventive. So in order to get that flow, you have to leave some negative space. So then start studying, give yourself variety of negative space. And that are these shapes between branches. I'm kind of liking where it is now. The other thing was the light. It was very bright out here, very dark as we got towards the shore. The shore was right about down here, and I was sitting a few feet back, as you saw in the vlog footage. So the light, I didn't really see the need to paint back here, although there was tone in the real scene. But I'll probably leave that open. I may indicate some water ripples going back. And I want to go in here and adjust all my branch contrast. I'm not the best plein air painter at finishing and seeing values in the field. I mean, admittedly so. It's just when I get back in the studio, everything looks different to me. So I rarely ever do something in the field to completion. But I still feel like the experience was very valuable for seeing. Some of these parts of the branches were extremely dark, and these areas were very much in shadow, these branches. But still, I want to model the light. Model, M-O-D-E-L, model the light. That means shape it. I've had people ask me, are you saying model or mottle? Because the light looked mottled, and I'm saying, no, I'm saying model, M-O-D-E-L. Just remember that branches are round, they're not flat cutouts. So where there are overlaps or texture, make sure that it accentuates or communicates the roundness of your form. It's a big mistake I see a lot. And these designs, these arrangements are very unique. They're very personal in the sense that you see them and it's like, I wouldn't have thought of that. I wouldn't have come up with this. I might have, but I wouldn't have come up with this maybe on my own without seeing it. And that's the exciting part of art, is seeing a composition where it's abstract or not and saying, that's unique, that deserves to be sketched or painted, and it speaks to me. Now, I've already got some green mixed up here. I'm just going to maybe dot in a few other leaves here and there, just to maybe add a few shadows to some of these leaf groupings. Maybe shadow an entire area where it's like a whole blob that's in shadow. So that certainly was what I saw in places. And make the green go behind some of these fine branches. You don't want to just paint in between all the branches. In reality, those leaves up there were a lot denser, but I'm painting what reminds me of the scene and serves the overall composition. All right, so the last thing, I think that's looking pretty good. Last thing I think I wanted to do is come down here, and all of this got very dark. So I want to just continue and bring some of the darkness in the water. The water was pretty clear, but it was very brown looking in that the bottom was brown. There was a lot of stone and sand and dirt. I'm going to join some of these value areas together a little bit. I'm going to get this fairly dark though. Go ahead and blend some of this together with some water, just to give an overall dark value to this area. And I don't recall this from the scene, but just going to get a little bit of blue back here. It might have been just a hint at the fact that there's probably some sky reflection somewhere. Carry that down in through here a little bit. I think atmospherically that opens it up a little bit too. It also keeps this lip from looking completely like a mud puddle. It was very clear water. Just had a brown bottom. Alright, I'm a little happier, I think, with all of that. The detail, the values, that's a good sketch representation of where I was and what I saw. Alright, thanks everyone. I hope that sort of salvaged my little planned vlog. At least you got to see a few nice shots of the beautiful day. And hopefully my talking you through the end process here was valuable. Thanks so much for watching, and thank you so much, patrons, for your support. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.